Alright guys, welcome back to Outside the Fly Box. I just recently in the mail got a spool of some nice new fly line and very anxious to get it on my reel so I can obviously get it out and fish with it. But I also realize it's a very good opportunity for me to explain to you guys how I set up my fly rod and reels. And again, I can't speak ever on camera. So without completely stripping my reel naked with backing and everything on, because I don't have to reel the backing in because it's no fun to reel in unless there's a fish attached to the other end of it. But I will explain how to attach your backing to your fly reel. And what I will do, if I have a reel that is spoked, where the backing is exposed to the inside of the reel, you can see the white is backing, I will just physically tie off to one of those spokes. The backing is guaranteed not to move. It will never go anywhere. And if you do not have a spoked reel, and you have no other way of attaching your backing to something to keep from spinning, the other method would be you just have to obviously wrap it around the arbor. Now, if you're left-handed and assuming you reel overhanded, or right-handed assuming that you reel overhanded, those arrows are the direction you would reel in. So what you want to do is take the tag end of the backing and reel it backwards and go once, twice. That way you have at least one full wrap of line of backing completely wrapped around the arbor. Because that's going to guarantee you the most amount of friction that you're going to get out of your backing to your arbor. And I'm not going to go crazy. Usually what I will just do is like a 4 or 5 turn improved clinch knot to tie it. But I'm just going to really quickly just do a very quick square knot to demonstrate, you know, why you want to twist it that way or tie it that way. Because if you watch me pull this, the line backing wants to spin in one direction, in the other it wants to cinch the knot down tighter. See, it's cinching, spins, cinches, spins, or should I say spin and cinch. Like, it really does not want to, it grabs and pulls. Which is what you want. And you always want that second full spun, you know, wrap around the arbor, so there, like I said, maximum friction to keep your line from spinning. So there's that. The other thing I do is, if I can find it, here it is. Try to keep your chair off your new fly line. This is something I started for when I was, you know, when I night fish, because you know, you don't realize that you're, you know, visually, when you're making your cast, you see the head go out, you get an idea of how much your shooting head's out of the rod, so you know how to, you know when to shoot your line out the cast. At nighttime, you can't really see, and I think if you're a seasoned caster, you may not need this, but I feel like for me it helps. So what I will do, what ends up on average for me is about 12 to 14 foot behind the shooting head is where I will put this. And this is just a piece of backing. It's actually chartreuse in color. I put black marker on it so you can see it better on camera. And what this does is, as I'm casting, throwing the rod, the line will slide out through my fingers and I will feel that bump, telling me that that's my maximum distance I want my line out before I shoot my line. And I've realized that it actually even helps me during the day. I mean, it takes the complete guesswork out of it. Especially if you're a newer caster and you're actually starting to shoot some pretty good line, what you'll realize is you'll be stroking it, getting it going good. You're like, one more false cast, you got too much line out the back, you go to shoot it and the loop collapses because the rod's not able to shoot all the weight out. And then you got to crank it all back in some and pull it back, and you completely restart your cast. It's a pain. But you know, it's just one of those things. I really feel like it definitely helps. The other thing I do is 65 feet down the line, and the reason why I say it's 65 feet is because I measured it. That is my working distance of fly line. It's where I can take any fly that I have with me, and even some of them are even a little bit overweighted and heavy for the rod. I will, I can shoot it 65 feet. It's every cast, you know, without question. It's comfortable, it's easy, it's routine, and it's also about the same distance that I would use if I'm fishing out of my boat with a spinning or a bait caster rod. It's just that comfortable distance, throwing the lure out, not too much like working retrieving it, and you can cover a lot of water. I mean, 65 foot either side of it, you're talking 130 foot of water you can cover. So that's just what I do. Like I said, it just takes the guesswork out. You know, you don't have to pull too much line if you know you're trying to shoot line and the cast bottoms out. It just it just takes the thinking out of what I do. All right, so I guess from here on out, I'll show you how to attach the backing to the fly line of how I do it. All right, say for instance that you get your fly line and you open it up, get ready to put it on your reel, and you're not 100% sure which end to attach your backing to. If you look, both ends of these are very, I can do this, very similar in size. I've never gotten a spool of fly line on the layout through the internet, from the mail, whatever, that didn't have a tag on it that said attached to reel or attached to backing. But if you do, something happens, comes off, your kid grabs it, unspools your line, you're not sure where to do it. What you would do if the sticker comes off, you take your line, put them together tip to tip. One end is obviously the shooting end or the front section of the line, and the other is the backing. So what you do is you put two ends together and start pulling. And what you'll see, usually this is a little bit beat up, it's old line. Within 4 or 6 feet of each other, one line will obviously get to the point where it's obviously larger. That is your shooting end of the line. The only one that you won't see a difference is if you buy something that's a double taper. Everything else, if it's a weight forward line, you'll see that one side is clearly larger. And a lot of the newer lines, you know, the running line, they're two tones. The running line at one end is one color and the shooting head's different. That works out even perfect. But if you're not sure if it's all the same color, what you would do is simply pull it through your fingers, find out which side's fatter, and tie it to the other end. Okay, this is how you remove the outer coating of your fly line off of the core. This is a monocore line. It works with the standard core line also, which I believe is nylon of some sort or another. It's basically the same thing your backing is. You do is I actually use the backing of my reel to do this when I swap the line out. This is just braided Dacron, 30 pound. Take it, open it up, make yourself a loop, like a slip loop. Put it on. I've already done this twice already just to show you, but I always, when I do it, I try to take off about 1 inch to 1.5 inches at a time until you get the amount that you need. Leave plenty of backing when you pull so it doesn't cut your hand, and then you just pull the shell off. There it goes. And as I said, I only do a little at a time. When you do it, it typically doesn't damage your backing at all. And I'll do it again, take a little bit more. Open the loop. Make your slip loop. Grab your line, slide it over, cinch it down nice and tight so it doesn't want to slide on the line. Same thing, wrap it on your hand so it doesn't cut you, and then just pull. Ta-da, that's it. And that should be enough to do my knot. And this is how I attach my backing to my fly line. If it's a standard core fly line, I will use a blood knot, because you're just putting two of the same materials together, where this stuff is much thinner and much more supple than the monocore. What I end up using is a double uni knot that more or less looks like this, if I can do it and see how the camera works out. It's kind of weird doing it like this with the... Alright, try this again. Watching the camera at the same time to see. Alright, loop it over, and what you're going to do is you want to go through this loop right here 6 times. One. If I can get it to work. It's kind of goofy trying to do this while I'm holding the line. 2. 3. 4. 5. There's a lot better animations out there. I'm just trying to show you. And then you're going to snug that down, pull it. Well, use my teeth. My wife will kill me because she works in the dental field, but I will actually pull the tag end of this to cinch it down. To completely tighten the knot up. And that is that side of the uni knot, and the backing still will slide through the knot. So then you go to the other side, do the same thing. So you probably just pull some of that backing back in. Don't need it all out there. This side's much easier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. And then what I'll do is pull this all kind of up and together. I won't cinch it down tight until I can put it on the, there you go. And that's it. And to me, this is a much cleaner, nicer knot. If you're ever going to have it sliding back and forth through your guides of your rod, it won't hang up as bad. And I think it's a much more secure knot, in my opinion. And that's how you do that. So, okay, this is how I attach my leader to my fly line. There's 2 knots that I use. One is a Snell knot, which I learned years ago from a guy out on a tuna boat, believe it or not. Not fly fishing, but we're tuna fishing, but he showed me how to snell a hook, and he said you can actually, tie a leader to fly line. To do this, it's easier if you have something. I obviously use a bodkin. You can get away with a micro screwdriver, or even this, it's a ball needle for blowing up soccer balls, volleyballs, whatever. And this here, actually, you can even use these to tie nail knots because there's a small hole in it. The thing I would tell you is the smaller the diameter of whatever you're using to keep your wraps organized, the better the knot will come out and easier the knot will come out, because you want to try to be around the same size as your fly line. So what you would do is so this is an old leader, obviously, it's all kind of curly cued. This is the end where you would tie your fly. Take that in in this case, a bodkin, and then your butt section, which is the heavy section where the loops come off. And the reason why I don't do the loop-to-loop connections, I just don't like the bulk in the water, and I don't like the way it hangs up inside the rod on the guides. Because if you ever have an issue with, you know, a big fish on your pole and you get really, really stupid excited, and the one thing you don't want to do is pull the line inside the rod, because if it's a big fish, takes off, the knots can hang up, and you break it off. Because it won't happen when you know, when it's convenient. It's always going to be when it's inconvenient with that, you know, your lifetime fish. So here's what you do: is you have all three of them. This is the butt section. That's the end that you tie off on with your fly. And from there you just make wraps. And for me, 9's the magic number. There's 2, 3, 4. Try not to unwrap it. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And then hold the knot, pull your bodkin out, and then from there you just got to pull this big loop nice and tight out and try to maintain the loop, because the line is twisted, so you want to make sure the twist goes through the wraps without making a mess if possible. And there's that. Feels close. And then the reason why I prefer this over the nail knot is because I feel like the fly leader itself comes a lot nicer off of, straighter, not nicer, I guess straighter is the word. It comes straighter off of the line once you cinch it all down tight. And then maybe wet it a little bit, then tighten it. And again, my wife hates when I do this, but I will bite this end in my teeth, grab the heavy end and tighten. And nice and tight. And then what's nice about this is you can cut this pretty much off completely flush. And then same with the back end. And there it is. Doesn't get better than that. Alright, now I'll show you the this is how you use the nail knot tool. Let's get this nice and close, you can see the channel. Yep, everything's a little backwards. That's the channel. So what you want to do is take the heavy end of your leader, and again, this had a loop on it, I cut it off, I don't like the loops. Stick it in the channel. And then pull it around and do like 7 wraps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Get your 7 wraps. Take the butt end and stick it up through them. And then just take your fly line, stick it up through the other way. Pull the tool off, and then just tighten. Same thing. My wife hates it, but I will put this in my teeth, pull both ends. Not crazy fast, just because you want the wraps to go down straight. Once you snug them up, you also want to make sure that the loops are touching and organized. See, not perfect, but I don't think it's consistent as the always as consistent as the see, fairly organized. Wet it, back in the teeth and tighten her up. And there it is. You can cut it. And that's your knot. Like I said, I just don't feel like this comes off as clean as straight as the Snell knot. That's why I prefer the Snell. Alright, the only thing left is how to attach your leader to a fly. I only use, I guess it's 4 knots to tie them, different flies on at different weights. Now, if I am trout fishing with, say, flies that are size 10 or 12 or smaller, and I'm changing a lot, I will use just the regular old standard Davy knot, because it's small, fast to tie, and you can save tippet. But if you have to change flies a lot to try to figure out what the fish are eating. So simply just take your line, put it through your hook. Basically it just ends up being almost a square knot. Starts out right that. There's your square knot, goes under, and the Davy knot is you just take this tag in, stick it back through, and the reason why I like it is because you can take the tag into the line. What I will do is grab the back of the hook and the tag in at the same time, moisten the knot, and then pull. And if it comes out right, the tag end comes out square to the eye. You just cut that off, and there's your knot with minimal waste of your tippet. Now, if I put on a fly that is, I think it's confident that I'm going to catch fish on, where I'm not going to be swapping out a lot, I will use the double Davy knot, which is, there's your fly obviously, there's your line, you go through, start your square knot, go through once, which makes your square knot, that makes it a Davy knot, and the double Davy is just to go back through one more time. The difference is this, for me, doesn't work. Like, you can't hold the tag in, so you have to moisten and slide the whole thing down. And what I like about this knot is I can cut that tag completely off to the point where you won't see it at all. And the reason why I will do that and have confidence at, because if you cut it so close where this knot moves and the tag pops out that side, you still have a Davy knot to hold your fly on, which is still a very good knot. Alright, now we will move on to some of your bigger flies, which is obviously stuff bigger than size 10 or 12. And I will do this pretty much with all my flies, with my tippet weights down to 12, say 12 pound and under. I'll go both ways with 12 pound tests, but if it's definitely smaller than 12 pound tests, it's just your basic improved clinch knot, which is just put it through, wrap it 5 or 6 times, 2, 3, 4, 5, go through the loop, and then back up through the big loop that you just made, if you can see that, and then moisten and pull tight. It's not the prettiest thing, not being on mono, so the whole string doesn't move correctly, but it's the knot. And the other knot I use for 12 pound and up, I would tell you the name of it, but I don't know it. I'm not 100% sure where I got it. I thought I had it in a book, and I can't find the book that I got it out of. Tried to find it online and could not, so I wonder if in my brain over the years I've actually morphed it into something that it's not. I don't know. But at any rate, all you do is make a square knot, right? Take your tag in, put it through your lure, and if you look at this, if you pull down, draw down tight, the line will make like a figure 8. But what I will do is just twist it so it makes the figure 8 for you. What you do is take your tag end, put it up through the bottom loop that you made, grab it, hold everything together, and then put it back down through this loop. What I like about this, it's a non-slip loop. But why I always like this, because you can pull the tag end nice and tight and moisten it, and then pull your running line, and it makes the nicest, for me, the smallest loop that you can find. I want to tell you it's never failed on me. That'd be a little bit of a lie, but it's never failed on a fish. The only time I've ever had it pulled out is when I've snagged on something deep and couldn't get it out. But it's never broke off on a fish ever. So from here on out, I guess I'm going to tie some flies on with actual mono and take some really good pictures, and you'll get to see what those look like. Alright guys, so here she is. All spooled up, ready to rock. Please like and subscribe. I'm always here to help. See you guys next time.
Thank you.